another edition of Acoustic Alternatives. We are at Grove Studios in Ypsilanti. The hosts, well, they've been a host for my show since I started. They were the ones who encouraged me to come and do a podcast when my radio job disappeared because of the pandemic. And they thought it would help kind of, give me a chance to do what I did in Ann Arbor radio, where I was exposing people to new artists and giving them a chance to discover new music. And that is really what this is all about. It's about turning people on to maybe an artist that they've vaguely heard of or have never heard of or they love. Whenever I get a chance to visit with people, and especially people who I admire, it brings me great joy, and I hope that it does for them as well. Today, we're welcoming to the podcast Sam Robbins. Hello, Sam.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
It is a pleasure to have you, and I enjoyed the show I saw last night, the one I saw last year, and you had a couple of songs that just really stood out to me. I thought, I need to get to know more about this guy. I need to get these records.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I delved into the records and I said, all right, this is definitely an artist that belongs on this show.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
My pleasure. We're going to dig into your life a little bit. We'll talk about your latest album. We'll talk about stuff.
I'm excited.
But we're gonna have you sing a song first, though, so people go, oh, why am I here again?
Cool.
It's for songs. So let's start with the song. What would you like to do first?
I might do your first request.
Oh, okay. I'm not going to object to that.
From last night, it was this song "Hard to Hate," which is. Should I just play it?
Or you can do the intro. Actually.
Okay. Yeah.
The intro is important to the song.
Yeah, "Hard to Hate." It's on my album that I put out in August, and I think it's my favorite song. Yes. I think it's my favorite song on my new album, and it took a while to write. It's like a 3-panel kind of song, and it was interesting because it was about when I was growing up and my parents aren't musicians and I didn't really know what to do about music. I grew up in New Hampshire and I played an open mic at a bar and I played another open mic and another open mic and I just had a few songs under my belt and I ended up getting booked at a horrible bar and some great bars too, but and I would play night after night after night after night and I just met a lot of interesting people doing that, and I feel like I play shows for people that care now, but which I'm grateful for. But there's a part of me that is still there in those bars sometimes, So this song's called "Hard to Hate." I was booked at a biker bar upstate. It was leather jackets and guns on hips. I whipped in my dad's red Prius. I was stuffed in a corner singing "Fire and Rain" when a Hell's Angel spun towards me. As he was limping over, I swore I was about to die. But then we talked for 20 minutes about his favorite songs from Sweet Baby James. His voice got softer and softer. It's pretty hard to hate someone when they're right in front of you. It's so easy to fall in love when you take the close-up view. When it's not a screen, it's a face, it's a heart, it's a name. It gets pretty hard to hate when you can really see the flame, the fire behind everyone's pain. I was booked at a bright pink bachelorette where they wished I was a stripper. Drunk women barking, "Won't you play Michael Bublé?" I picked his saddest one just to be rude, but much to my surprise, one by one they started slowing down. And for 2 whole hours we sang and laughed as we watched the walls come down. Their faces got softer and softer. It's pretty hard to hate someone when they're right in front of you. It's so easy to fall in love when you take the close-up view. When it's not a screen, it's a face, it's a heart, it's a name. It gets pretty hard to hate when you can really see the flame, the fire behind everyone's pain. I gave Kathy a bag of chips by the side of the road. I saw the scars on her face as she said, did you know that I used to be somebody? I used to be somebody. It's pretty hard to hate someone when they start to look like you. It's so easy to fall in love when their face reflects the truth. Then you can never quite escape. Good luck fighting off the flame. That fire, it always remains. Oh, it's all the same thing. Do-do-da-da-da-da-da. Do-do-da-da-da-da-da.
My guest today on Acoustic Alternatives is Sam Robbins. That's a song called Heart Hate. You can find it on his album Bigger Than In Between. Sam, like any discovery of music, whether it be ABBA or ZZ Top and anything in between, it starts with one song that goes, what is that? I want to know more about that artist, that band. And when I saw you do that one at the Trinity House in Livonia last year, that's where I went, oh, wow, what am I missing here? Yeah, that's just an ear-opening like experience.
Oh, thank you.
And with a story as well. It makes it kind of fall into place.
Thank you. Yeah, that song was kind of an odyssey for me to figure out. It was actually completely rewritten. There was a totally other version of it.
Really?
The full song, like almost every, other than the chorus was the same. Every verse was completely different lyrically.
How so? Telling different tales, just different parts of your story?
It was the same story, but it was, well, roughly the same story, but it was the lyrics were more straight up,
okay,
if that makes sense. Where like the rhyming was more concise, and I played it a few times in front of audiences, and I realized when the rhyming is too clean, it was kind of boring. Like every line rhymed in the whole song, and then it was like, but it's kind of a long song, there's a lot to it, and by the end of it, it was kind of like the ear was tired. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just kind of an interesting fact about that song that it was completely a different song.
Which Michael Bublé song were they yelling for?
Oh God.
Or which one did you play?
I don't even know. I wanna go home.
Home. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought.
Yeah. I don't remember what they.
It's called Home.
Yeah.
Simple title.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Well, anyway, let's back up a little bit. Actually, I mean, almost would want you to play it because it's going to tell a lot of the answers to the song, but the song Reverence from the new album actually tells a lot of the tales of your life, and it has a lot of the answers to my initial question. But tell me where you grew up and a little bit about it.
Yeah, I grew up in New Hampshire, Portsmouth, New Hampshire. It's like this little sort of coastal port town.
Okay.
Like 5 minutes from Maine, 5 minutes from Mass. Yeah, grew up there. Yeah, very New Englandy. Very New Englandy. Very New England.
Do you miss it as you come to states like ours? I know you seem to have a real affinity for Michigan already.
Yes. Well, I was saying last night that it's like there's kind of a kinship I feel with the Michigan vibe from what I experienced, which has only been like 2 or 3 times. But, the outdoorsy vibe, like the lakes, all that kind of thing. It's similar to New Hampshire in a way, I find. Like, I would like to explore more of the state. But yeah, it feels good here. It feels good here. It feels like homey, and yeah.
You're surrounded by water when you're in Michigan. If you're
yes,
kind of in an island type town, that'd be the similar thing.
Yeah. No, it would be the same because I played in Grand Haven this summer, and it was like this is like the same as being on the ocean. You know what I mean? It felt like it was like God. It's crazy. You know, it's crazy. It was awesome.
What kind of things did a young Sam do in Portsmouth?
How young? Like
It's your story.
okay. Yeah. I mean, I tried every sort of sport and everything, and I was terrible at them all. You know, when you're a kid and you try stuff like that, I was terrible at all of them. And then I got into playing drums actually, and when I was like maybe 11, and I would play drums, and you know, that was my escape. You know, for 6 or 7 years, that's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to play drums, and I did guitar a little bit sing a little bit on the side, but I was into, you know, Blink-182, punk drumming, like, you know, yes, like beating the hell out of I would used to break cymbals and all this crazy stuff because I would hit, you know, I'd spent a lot of time doing that, but yeah, I mean, that was the focus of my life for a long time.
Music, pretty much?
Was playing drums, really, which really is a huge part of me still, I find. But yeah, it was a huge thing for years, was just, you know, how hard can I hit these drums? You know, when you're 14 and, you know, you're angsty as hell, it's great to just go downstairs and just go, ah! And, you know.
Your parents probably love that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, God bless them, you know what I mean? They put up with that. Yeah, oh God, I can't imagine.
So what led you to guitar then? Since it's a very, like, sometimes people go from drums to piano because of the percussive instrument, but you went from guitar,
that's interesting.
drums to guitar.
Yeah. I think at a certain point, deep down, I wanted to be a singer and guitar player. Like I really liked Bob Dylan, and I really liked John Mayer. That was kind of when John Mayer was really big, you know.
Yeah.
And
Just saw him.
oh really? Oh,
He didn't
cool.
see me though. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty far away.
Yeah. And those guys, like, you know, Jackson Browne, all those guys that I sort of was enamored with. Neil Young. I remember there's a video of Neil Young that I used to just be obsessed with when he was 24. And like, I think it was, I almost wouldn't let myself think that it would be possible. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of like, oh, you're from this town. Like, you know, you don't know any musicians really. Like, people don't really do that. You know, people don't really do that, you know. And also, it was like the sense that you had to be this huge star, you know, or nothing. And I think this is a very long-winded answer. I think I have something in my eye now.
It's a pupil.
It's a pupil, yeah. It's for the people watching on video.
Should probably leave that in there.
Yeah. I think it was, I was always enamored with it, kind of, you know, like ever since I heard that video that, there's a video of Neil Young and he's 24 and he said, oh man, look at my life, I'm a lot like you were.
Yeah.
And something about that just like, and I remember the first time I heard, when you used to close at the break of dawn. And it's something about it just grabbed me, but I wouldn't let myself do it. You know, it was like too much to imagine that I could actually do that. And I think, you know, my brother played guitar a little bit, and I knew a few people around school that played guitar, but it was like, and guitar and drums are more similar than I thought too. But I think it was like I let myself do it when I was like 16 or 17, and I was like, maybe I could actually do this. Like, I want to write songs. I want to give myself permission, you know. But it's hard. It's hard to do. It's hard to be a singer. You know, you become a singer like out of nowhere. It's hard to do that, you know, when no one you know is really a singer.
If I was interviewing one of your high school friends right now, what would they think you would have become? This or something else?
I think by like probably the end of high school, I was kind of like doing this.
Okay, so people probably expected that this is your path.
I think by the end of high school, I mean, it was, you know, you do high school classes and it's fine. And then, but it was, you know, my senior year, I think I had a class that I designed, quote unquote, that I just sat around and like played guitar. That was my class, you know, and I had,
Pretty lucky.
Yeah, that was really nice that they let me do that. So by the end of high school, it was probably pretty clear, but I think the path of, you know, people, the train in the distance.
There is a train. It's a good time for a train song.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah.
That was David Wilcox.
Oh yeah,
You can't get that past me. That was a rusty old American dream.
I don't look all that red for all the time it's been. Yeah. Sorry.
Same wavelength. It's okay.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot where we were.
We'll start a new question then.
Okay.
I forget where we were.
I forget where we were.
Siblings. You have a brother?
Yes.
Just a brother?
Just one brother. Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, the family dynamic, everybody got along. It was a good household.
Yeah, generally. I mean, I think my parents, their greatest gift to me is that they had no idea what the hell I was doing at any time, but they let me do it.
Yeah.
I remember the day my dad said to me, like, I told him, I was like, I think I want to do like music, like after high school. And I thought, for some reason, you have it in your head that this is so stupid and people are going to, and he said, yeah, man, we'll just do it as hard as you can. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. It's
go
like,
all the way, yeah.
Yeah, just like commit to something, and I was like, oh yeah, so that was pretty amazing. My brother is, he's a musician and he plays guitar, like as a hobby on the side. He's really into pedals and electric guitar and stuff. And he got a PhD in quantum computing, which is interesting. And I'm here. But generally good, I'd say. It was supportive and in a sort of an arm's length, like, we have no idea what the hell is going on here, but please
give it a shot.
You know what I mean? And that was,
wow.
I think that was helpful. You know what I mean? Like,
it's a good choice. This is to me, it seems like what you're meant to do. Having only seen you a couple of times, it's a very natural. Like, I can't imagine that this person wouldn't succeed after a bit of perseverance. I mean, it takes a bit to get to a point where you're playing bigger rooms and more people, but I think you've got that thing.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
You chose to go to Berkeley. Obviously, you believed enough to make education in it your choice. What were you studying at Berkeley?
Well, when I got there, I wasn't...
Berkeley School of Music, by the way.
Yeah, in Boston.
Being casual about it.
And I grew up an hour from Boston, so it was kind of, my parents really wanted me to go to college, and I wanted to go to college, and I think Berkeley, these big steps I've taken, which has been kind of like, okay, Berkeley, like, I'm really committing to this. Move to Nashville, okay, like these big steps. It's kind of like, I don't really know what I'm getting into. Like, when I went to Berkeley, I wasn't totally sure what I was going to do. Like, I didn't know if I was going to finish, I didn't really know. And I ended up being a songwriting major, which is crazy to think of as an actual major at an actual school, but great, you don't
have to present that degree to get a job at to play a band.
No, it's just no. The degree does exist though, and I look at it sometimes, and it's there. Yeah, it's in my little studio in Nashville, but it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny, but
it's all good. Did you have Livingston Taylor as one of your
teachers?
I
did, actually.
I know James is one of your influences.
Yes.
And Livingston, his brother, was your teacher. He's also been good at mentoring and taking people on tour with him. That's how I first discovered Seth Gleer, was as he opened as an opening act for Livingston. And so I know he's done a little bit of that where he takes people that he's taught out with him.
Yeah.
How did you miss that boat?
Well, I wasn't ready at all when I was, because I took both his classes my freshman year. And I was not even close to ready then. I mean, I shudder to think about it. I wasn't close to ready for any of that, and I think, his classes were really, I'm doing a festival this year, and I'm playing, I think, the same day that he's playing. So that's going to be kind of epic. Yeah.
Hey, remember me from 20 whatever?
Yeah, I'm sure he won't, but I'm interested to talk to him about it, and sorry, what?
I said I hope that goes well.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun, but yeah, I was not ready at that point at all to be really playing out that much. I had a few songs and I liked playing, but I didn't really know what I wanted to do with it exactly at that point,
It's all right.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's fine.
So people want to know that story. There is a song on the new album called Reverence. I don't know if you want to play that one.
Sure.
You don't have to, but it seems like a good, natural progression because it does tell your tale pretty well. Unless that's about some other guy who's got a similar career to you.
No. Let me grab this guitar and do it on this one. Let me see what tuning this is in, ready?
I have no idea.
Oh, it's in the right tuning, everybody. My God. Yeah, this was that David Wilcox song, "Rusty Old American Dream." It's really, a blues song, and this song was kind of written. I wanted to have fun with the song, and I wanted to try to write in that feel, and I wanted to just, and I had heard the word reverence. I remember I was listening. I was listening to a Matthew McConaughey interview, the wellspring of inspiration.
Yes, of course.
And he said that. He said, people need a little more reverence for things. It's like this. It's just kind of a cool word, and I got out the guitar and I started playing a blues lick, and this appeared. Yeah, I was 12 when I held my first pair of drumsticks. Oh, they glowed by my parents' basement lights, and I tore them unbashing on my blue sparkle kicks. But I still got them in a drawer in my bedroom closet. And I was 15 when I got my first guitar. Yes, I opened up the case to a cheap red Fender, and I know that it wasn't much, no, just painted plywood. But I took care of it, I cherished it, till we both played pretty good. Yeah, I'm trying to live with some reverence, give some importance, set out with some intent. Yes, and be grateful for it all. Appreciate what's given when passed through generations, and realize that nothing is as simple as it seems. Well, I'm trying to have some reverence for what's in front of me. Now I've only had this guitar for a few years. Every scratch on it is mine, and we feel so intertwined. But I don't see it as an instrument, it's more like a samurai sword. It's a lifetime of service, well used and well worn. And I've been singing out for a while now, I got a few jagged scars. I've smiled on TV, I've had stars laugh at me strumming this guitar. But I think I figured out what my success really means, yeah. Oh, it's being grateful for being able to really be me. Well, I'm trying to live with some reverence, give some importance, set out with some intent. Yes, and be grateful for it all. Appreciate what's given when passed through generations, and realize that nothing is as simple as it seems. Oh, well, I'm trying to have some reverence, I'm trying to have some reverence, I'm trying to have some reverence for what's in front of me.
Nice.
Thanks.
A track called Reverence you can find on Sam Robbins' latest record. It's called Bigger Than In Between and tells the tale of his young life that we just talked about.
Yeah.
Because we could have written a song afterwards.
Yeah, that's funny, yeah.
Appreciate you doing that. That does have a bit of a David Wilcox feel, and I actually recognized that same feel when you were playing the one last night that has the capo, the short capo. There's a bit of,
I mean, a lot of the songs that I wrote during that time, this was like fall 2020 even, and I was experiencing a large sort of shift in my mindset as the world was falling apart, continued to fall apart. And someone mentioned David Wilcox to me at a show, and I said, I think I've heard his name. I don't know. I had a 7-hour drive the next day, and I just devoured the discography, like unbelievable. And I got home, and I just kind of wrote songs as just trying stuff out, like, oh, let's try this tuning, like he does, where he goes, you know what I mean, crazy, like all that kind of weird stuff. And a few songs sort of appeared from that, and that was one of them.
I can feel that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a rip-off, but, whatever, it's fine.
Well, no, it's just an ode to his style.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Well, in the future part of the conversation, we'll just bring it up now because we're talking his name. You wrote a song with him.
Yeah.
And it's going to be on his next record. That's really cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that was an interesting thing. Yeah, I met him summer 2021, I think. And I talked to him a little bit, and he said, let's write a song together. And we got together at his house and wrote this crazy song, David Wilcock's Insanity kind of song, and in a good way. And it's going to be on his next record, which is really exciting.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. I'm excited.
Some other friends of mine, the Accidentals, got to write a song with him as well. I don't know if
that's
going to be the next record or not, but a band from Michigan that now lives near you.
Yeah. Well, I know Sav. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, Sav and I did Kerrville together.
Oh, very nice. Mm-hmm. Yes. So there you go. She also said that they wrote a song with him. So.
Oh, cool. Oh,
we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah.
So let's look at your discography. In 2016, there was something called Up North. An EP
wow.
that only came out digitally, right?
Yes. Well, I did actually have a very limited run of CDs, but, I was, like I said, I wasn't ready. I wasn't really ready.
Are those songs ones you, I don't say embarrassed is probably the wrong word, but just ones you don't really...
Yeah. I mean, I think, honestly, like, I have this tendency I'm learning that once I record something, I am kind of like, I can't listen to the recording again, and all of that song and the first song I played are edited from how they are in the album. Cause and I look back and I'm like, oh yeah, I would have done that differently. And I feel like maybe it's just the curse of, you know what I mean? But that one, yeah, I mean, I just wanted to try I won this competition where I won a studio time for like 3 days or something. Mm-hmm. And so we recorded really high quality recordings, but the songs, some of my first songs, just like, yeah, whatever,
Yeah. Like any job, you should get better at it as you go along.
Yes, right? Yes, and I'm grateful for that.
Sometimes people come out when their first album is the best thing they've ever done, and they can't repeat anything. And then sometimes it's the other way around. They have something that's really promising, and then they hit their peak, and they have 3 or 4 or 5 albums in, and kind of hold it up there.
Yeah, that would be good. I think I'm still honestly learning about like how I want to do album. Like I'm probably gonna do a live album, and just learning about how I want to do recording and stuff going forward, like with every step I'm kind of trying to figure that out.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Well, after that EP there were a couple of singles, and then in 2021 this very strong album that wasn't really on my radar until this one because I didn't know about you yet.
Yeah,
but this has some really great tunes. I'm very fond of Remind Me, Saying Amen, Putting It All Together, particularly on this record. So
thanks.
Those of you who are discovering this album, do yourself a favor.
Oh, thank you.
That's a great album as well. And then another very excellent album that wasn't on my radar until I saw you.
Yeah.
Bigger Than In Between. We already did Hard to Hate, one that really stood out, made me take notice. Wouldn't Change a Thing. Bigger Than In Between. What Kind of Faith Are You Praying In? Just One Cronkite, All I Know. I mean, these are all songs that really grabbed me. If I still had a radio show where I got to play whatever I wanted, those are all the songs that I'd be playing.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Those would all be getting airplay in some way, shape, or form. Wouldn't Change a Thing kind of brags about your down-to-earthness, which is nice, though. If you had a chance to be that star that you sing about, would you actually welcome that chance?
I think so. I mean, I think the star thing, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I can't really imagine how it would, you know what I mean? How it would happen. I think like there's like the Brandi Carlile level of star where it's like, she's been doing it for like 20, 30 years. Mm-hmm. And now in the past like 5 years, she's become kind of like a celebrity.
Absolutely.
And that's so different than, so many people where it's like, oh, their first album, they signed with a deal and suddenly they get promoted on their first album. And it's kind of like, I don't know. I think I would rather have the Brandi way. Even though like
the slow build.
Yeah.
Slow burn, the slow build.
Well, and obviously it's not and not saying if someone came, hey, would you want to be a multimillionaire celebrity? Like I would be like, no.
Well, it might be uncomfortable. I mean, you can't.
Well, yeah, it depends. I mean, I think like some of the stuff that, especially I see it in Nashville, where the country star thing and like lower level country stars, what seems from my perspective, what seems to have to be done at that world of where your celebrity is the thing that's promoting you rather than your work. You know what I mean? I shouldn't say that about the country stars thing. It's not anyone in particular. It's just like, I think sometimes the celebrity famousness of it can be how much of that is going to affect the career. You know what I mean? Like Brandy Carlisle is not, she's a celebrity, but it's more on the back of this 30-year career.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like
I've met her several times. She's very down to earth and very nice.
Yeah, where it's like, I've met some like celebrities and it's like, sometimes it's like they're not on earth. You know what I mean?
We discussed that later there's a thing. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh my God, the research. Look at you. If you can't see it if you're listening, but my God, the research, the papers he has. Oh.
Well, just to make sure that I keep good flow here.
I was told about the legend of your interviewing skills, so.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, not necessarily name dropping, but just as a similar point of view, I asked Ed Sheeran when he was touring for his first album and nobody heard of him in the U.S. I said, about your song Lego House, is that about tearing down a relationship and building it back up again? He says, yes, exactly. You're the first person to get that. And at this point, the album had been out in the UK and had been number one selling album. It hadn't come out in the U.S. And I was like, really, no one else got that. So I'm going to say this about one of your songs, and I'm assuming I'm right, but maybe I'm the first person to get this as well. Just One Cronkite seems to be you watching the news and being disgusted by it and then writing about your disgust of what's going on in the world. Yeah. Just One Cronkite is another, as I mentioned, one of the standout cuts.
Yeah.
What inspired specifically that song?
That's actually one of my favorite songs that I put on the album. That it's very dark. And I wrote it like when the George Floyd 2020 thing, right around then. Mm-hmm. And I had that idea in my head. It's because it was fascinating that someone, there were these newscasters that historically were so trusted. It's almost unbelievable to imagine that now. You know what I mean? It's like, and I was thinking, man, it would just be nice if there was one voice of reason somewhere. You know what I mean? Like something,
Yeah.
If there was one voice of reason somewhere.
Just one guy like Cronkite.
Yeah, just one Cronkite. Like it's just like somewhere, but there was there was Trump, there was all these crazy, you know what I mean? It was just like one, like someone that could be trusted in some way, like, in the media or something. And I mean, there are obviously people that can, but everything's tainted with a little bias now, and social media, and everybody's getting things in different ways. It's interesting.
I have a few years on you, so the way that news was consumed by me when I was your age was not a 24-hour news cycle where there was always a barrage of something happening because you had access to it in your pocket. Back then you had to tune into the news to find out what was going on. There was no like, oh my God, did you hear? It was, you had to wait till the 5 o'clock news or whatever to find out what was happening.
Yeah.
Unless you happen to listen to a news station on AM radio or something. But now we're barraged with it anytime we open any. It's fine. It's nice to be informed, but on the other hand, you can't escape it.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's pretty heavy.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's definitely like, I think we're just so in the infancy of this media source, I mean, how long, 10 years maybe, that everybody's had a phone and everybody's had the social media thing. And I think like it can add drama. Look, people are saying X, but it's like, okay, 2 or 3 people tweeted about this thing.
Those are people.
They're people, but it's not like the consensus of the world. Right. It can create this like, and then people will be like, well, people are saying X. That's so crazy, Anyways, I can go on about this forever. But yeah. The
album itself, the newest album, says in the liner notes, was written during lockdown. So obviously inspired by maybe some of that you were witnessing on the TV, radio, whatever. Being isolated, but now we're not there anymore. You're out touring again. What kind of things are coming to you now? What kind of things are you writing about now?
I'm writing a lot lately, actually. I think during lockdown it was interesting for me because I had played mostly in New England, and so then getting out and this is going to be a very long-winded answer again. You know, in lockdown, it was I was exploring things with no sense of an audience other than online every once in a while. But it took me a while to warm up to the online thing. But no sense of an audience. So I was writing these songs that were kind of really dark. You know what I mean? Like, and I wasn't quite sure when I was in the middle of it. I was like, what do I want to present to like audiences and stuff? You know, when I really get out in a more like national way, because I played only in New England, you know.
Okay.
And I didn't. And now I think I'm trying to. Well, I'm not trying. I'm kind of writing whatever, but it feels like the songs are more positive. You know, I mean, I think the world is more positive now.
Good point.
But I think like I'm playing for people more regularly now, so I want to think about what am I putting out into the world, kind of. And so I want the songs like Just One Cronkite, where, you know, that song is dark as hell. I don't even remember the tuning. Oh yeah, this is the tuning. You know, it's like, you know, dark, scary, you know, crazy chords and stuff. And yeah, it was a beautiful rendition of it.
Oh yes, it's like you're insulting yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, and so I like to have those, especially on the albums. But it was like, you know, when I'm playing for people, I want to bring some positivity.
Yeah.
You know, and or you know, I love music that is between the emotions. You know what I mean? It's like that's what Jackson Browne does so well, I think. You know, and where it's not sad, it's not happy, but there's like this nostalgic feeling where they come together. Mm-hmm. I really like that.
Yeah.
You know, I really like that feeling a lot.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm John Bomarito. We're here with Sam Robbins at Grove Studios. Grove, by the way, I mentioned them at the top of the podcast. If you're a local musician in Ann Arbor or Detroit, kind of in the middle there, Ypsi, you can find this as a great place to bring your band for practice, get out of the garage and get into the studio, as they like to say here. Very affordable, 24/7 keypad operation. I gave Sam a quick tour.
It's nice. Yeah, it's nice. Really nice.
There's a couple of, I didn't show you the studios where DJs are practicing sometimes. Actually, there was one as I was loading in today who was just finishing up his session, just getting his skills scratching and making lots of noise. And he had it cranked up. So it's the kind of thing you can't do in your apartment.
Yeah.
Or even sometimes in your house because your neighbors are like, what are you doing down there? So that's why Grove exists. It's a really cool place. So check them out, Grove Studios in Ypsilanti. Another song. What would you like to do?
I might do Just One Cronkite. I don't play it enough that I would probably butcher it.
That's okay. That's the sound of guitars falling.
Yeah, guitars slamming into each other. Carnage. I think I'm going to do... I think I'm going to do this song. This is the title track to the album. And it was written during lockdown times, kind of, and you know, I don't like it to be too much about like specific COVID stuff. You know what I mean? Like we've heard so much about it at this point, but you know, it was written during that time, and I had heard this song, this traditional song, "Hard Times Come Again No More." You maybe heard it, and I heard this great arrangement of it. It was kind of similar to this, and you know, I've spent years by the door with untied shoes, counting everything. Oh wait, no, this is my song. Wait, sorry, I mixed it up. I heard the version of it, which is, let us pause in life's pleasures and count its many tears, while we all sup sorrow with the poor. And then 'tis the song, the sigh of the weary. Oh, hard times, come again no more. Many days we have lingered around my cabin door. Oh, hard times, come again no more. I heard that song and I became so enamored with it, and I learned it, and I learned different versions of it, and it was a song about hard times, and hard times had come. And so I wrote a song about my experience with it and my thoughts on a lot of things. It's called Bigger Than In Between. I've spent years by the door with untied shoes, counting everything I could lose. If I take that first step and my feet don't fly, if I let my fragile dreams break free but die. But I feel what my eyes can't see. There must be something bigger than in between. From every life I've ever lived, this is what I've gleaned. There must be something bigger than in between. I felt it in gymnasium dances, in weddings and funerals too. Glowing moments pushing us towards the truth, that no matter what we tell ourselves or try to prophesize, no one knows the road back home, but we can read the signs. And I feel what my eyes can't see. There must be something bigger than in between. From every life I've ever lived, this is what I've gleaned. There must be something bigger than in between. And these days I bounce between my phone and my TV screen. A million voices shouting louder and louder at me. I don't know what to say anymore. I don't know what to think. There's so much fear behind everything. But when I walk outside, my neighbors smile at me. I still see the beauty in the new blue sky, and it's so easy to see that there must be something. There's gotta be something. There must be something bigger than in between.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Bigger Than In Between from Sam Robbins from his album of the same name on Acoustic Alternatives from Grove Studios. Appreciate you playing all the songs and showing off your guitar skills. the drummer turned guitar player.
Yeah.
Nashville.
We're all connected, you know.
Nashville via New Hampshire. Mm-hmm. Man who almost thinks Michigan might be his next home.
Oh my God, it's nice here. I was calling my girlfriend. I was like, man, this is like one of my favorite states I've visited. You know, there's so much to do. There's so many different communities. Like, the music scene just seems so strong.
It'd be nice if somebody moved from Nashville to Michigan for a change,
I know.
as opposed to the other way around.
I know.
We're losing a lot of our best to Nashville.
Well, it's great to, you know, get out and experience something. Like, that's part of the reason I moved to Nashville. Was like, let me experience life in a different way, away from everybody I know. Like, let's just try something. Yeah. That's funny, though. That's funny.
We've talked a bit about your influences already. We've name dropped the James Taylors and the Neil Youngs and, you know, the David Wilcox, the people of the past. There are modern singers like yourself that are kind of doing a similar influence by. One that I'm hearing in your music, whether you know his music or not, I don't know, is Donovan Woods. Do you know Donovan?
I actually used to love Donovan Woods. I haven't.
Used to?
I kind of. Well, no. I mean, I still do.
What did he do?
But
to
I
you?
used to like really listen to him a lot. And that was interesting. Yeah, because he's like a Nashville country writer.
But he lives in Canada half the year. Like,
Does he?
commutes back and forth between
Oh,
Canada and
okay,
Nashville.
yeah.
But yes, he
Because
does.
he has that whole Nashville thing, which is kind of interesting.
He does. Who else is in that vein of the newer songwriters that you really admire?
Man, there are like so many, and I'm blanking on them.
It might be the same answer as what you listen to in the car. I don't know. It could be
Oh,
the same
yeah,
answer.
yeah.
Because you are.
Oh my God,
I mean, half your job is driving.
It's driving. Yeah, I listen to a lot of podcasts.
I know a really good one you should check out.
What?
Mine.
Oh, yes. Oh, no, I have listened. Yeah. I mean, oh my God, I should look at my phone. For some reason I'm blanking on it. There's a guy in Austin I met, actually. It's kind of fun because you meet people and then you love their music, and it's like, oh, it's great. Like this guy Pat Byrne in Austin I met. He's so great, amazing songwriter. And Liz Longley, who I know you've had on here.
Liz has been a guest.
Love
and a
her.
friend. Yep. I sent her a little clip of your show last night. Said, you just got name dropped.
Oh, really?
At 24th Street. She hasn't replied yet. But she will
That's
eventually.
awesome. Yeah, and oh my God, I'm just forgetting people's names, unfortunately.
Okay, we'll move on. I don't want to make you uncomfortable.
Well, no. Oh, God, I should
your
know.
phone.
Now I'm really curious. I mean, I listen to a lot of playlists. I'm listening to Pat Byrne right now. I listen to a lot of Tommy Emmanuel, although he's not very new.
No.
I don't know. I don't have a good answer for that.
It's okay. So the two records that have been out came out during the pandemic. How did you keep yourself sane during the peak of the pandemic? Was it doing these records?
I mean, I think that my story is different probably than a lot of musicians, because I kind of got my start in this kind of thing during that a little bit. Like I said, I had played in New England a lot, and I had done that, and I had moved to Nashville like 6 months before COVID. And I was young, I just got out of college, and I was just trying a bunch of different stuff, and I was not during COVID I was enamored in just discovering more of like the modern folk scene. You know what I mean? And I didn't really know how big it was, honestly. Like I had done stuff in New England, and I wasn't as hooked into the whole world of it as I am now. And people like Liz Longley, I got together with her and right before COVID, and she was telling me about 20 Front Street, and she was saying, there's this whole world out there outside of New England that like I don't think you've tapped into. And so it took a long time to get tapped because of COVID, But honestly, I was pretty. It gave me a chance to think about the way the songs are really about that. Like that last song, it was about thinking Reverence. They're thinking about the way I perceive myself and how I want to do music, because I was in this world a little bit where it was Nashville and if you're not a star, then you're nothing. And you know what I mean? Like there's that kind of narrative out there in the world, and that exists less in the folk scene, and I was pretty entertained. I took a bluegrass guitar course. You know what I mean? I beat Super Mario 64. I doing these albums was part of it, but I was playing a lot of guitar. I was, you know what I mean? I was writing, this whole album had almost been written by the time this one was released, the first one. And, it's crazy.
It's kind of how it goes.
Yeah.
A lot of folks, I mean, we've talked about the Michigan music scene and how strong it is, just briefly, but some of those folks that live in this Michigan music scene don't get to do what you do. Something must have been a catalyst for you to be able to afford, essentially, to go out on tour and not just play regionally, because a lot of these people I think are fantastic, just kind of stick to the mitten.
The mitten, yes. Yeah.
Reference that on stage, but that's all they can really afford to do, because it's not lucrative for them to go other places.
Yeah.
Was there a door opener for you that got you that opportunity to play well outside of your state?
I mean, I think part of the benefit of Nashville is that it's so central, and so it's not super hard to get to other communities. Well,
there has to be a demand for you to go there, though.
Oh yeah.
This is
that was difficult.
Where's the demand coming from? Like, what was there a door opening event that made it so that you could come play Michigan?
I think Kerrville, the Kerrville Folk Fest New Folk Competition, that was kind of I mean,
looks good on a resume.
Yeah, and it was kind of like, I mean, obviously, like if if you show up and you're bad playing,
Yeah.
then it's, you know what I mean? That's kind of the end of the road. But like, there were little things that you kind of helped turn the key a little bit. And again, not that I'm playing huge places and, you know, doing all that kind of stuff at all, but like being able to tour like this, like, I mean, I'm doing probably 150 plus shows this year and get out there and like do that. You need a little bit of a push in that kind of promotional way, but it's sort of like ties into what I was saying before about the like celebrity thing, where I'm like, not even remotely saying that I'm a celebrity, that's not what I'm saying, but like how much of the celebrity or how much of the like accolades are going to open the door for you. You know what I mean? It's interesting. It was kind of like, I think my mentality with all of this stuff now is like, I just want to try to be good at what I do. And like, you know, some people are going to like it, some people are not going to like it, but like one person at a time is going to like it. You know, somebody last night in 20 Front Street, I mean, I think it was good, but some people probably were like, yeah, that was fine. And then somebody was like, oh, I really like, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. And building up those little connections, like being able to get in one place at a time and then having them like you. And it really, for me, it was like, I just want to be good at what I do as the main promotional.
You are.
Oh, thank you.
That's why you're here.
Yeah, thank you. Like, I just want to be good at that and have that be the promotion, and the rest of it, the social media, like all that kind of stuff is part of the game, but it's not feeding the beast. Like, it's not the other way around, you know? Yeah. Anyways, that was kind of long-winded, but
you got a UK, you got like UK press. That is not that easy to do either for a independent singer-songwriter.
Yeah, that was interesting.
How did that happen?
I don't really know, honestly. I had these great PR people that I worked with, and there's someone in Boston, this great guy in Boston who helped pay for some of the stuff for the album, that was great. And he's an angel among men, and he helped with the PR, and that was cool. I mean, it was interesting to see that kind of work, and I was like, oh, UK. Oh,
there you go.
That's far.
Maybe you'll get over there someday.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
What has been your greatest experience on stage so far? Your favorite show you've played, or just most memorable like live moment in your performing career?
Oh man,
not one jumping out at you.
Oh no, there are tons that I love. I mean, one of them was this summer. There's in Portsmouth, my hometown, there's this concert series at this park called Prescott Park. And, you know, I went there, and when I was growing up, they're free concerts, and I would ride my bike there, and they would, you know, they had huge, you know, they had John Prine, they had, you know, Gillian Welch, Dave Rawlings, they had, you know, Brett Dennen, all these singer-songwriters, Martin Sexton, which blew my mind. Martin Sexton, I remember I had no idea who he was, and I was like in high school, and it just was like, whoa, you know, and all those kind of guys, and I got to open a show there this summer, which I always kind of was like, man, you know, that'd be cool to get on stage. And I remember I was there, and it was just such a beautiful moment for me. It's overlooking the river, and I was like, man, this is great. You know, it's big, probably 1,500 people there. You know, it was a big outdoor, beautiful thing in my hometown. And I remember the guy that booked me my first gig, my first like show outside of just kind of open mics and stuff, where, you know, I'm going to play my songs. Yeah. He was there right in the front, and I hadn't seen him in years. And I remember he was right there. It's like, man.
One of your door openers.
Yeah. Little, I mean, that's the thing. It's like these little, you know what I mean? Little door openers and it's just, I think like looking at trying to be like, how do I become famous? And, oh my God, how do I, you know, it's like, it's just not like Brandi Carlile, you know, it's been like 30 years, and here she is at this, you know, crazy thing, but it's great, you know. And
hanging out with Joni Mitchell, because, you know, that's what she does.
Yeah, that's just what she does, you know.
And she's on every stage everywhere.
Yeah, and Joni Mitchell even, you know, Joni Mitchell is obviously a legend, but like, you know, Joni Mitchell blew up quickly, and, you know, I don't think she liked it really.
Probably not.
You know, and so you got to think about that too. Like, she has all this money now, and obviously she's Joni Mitchell, but it's like, would I rather be Brandi Carlile or Joni Mitchell? I don't know. I mean, probably Brandi Carlile if I had to choose, you know? Yeah.
Well, there was, we're talking about the things you've done, I guess, to kind of get more well-known. And there were two things you did. We mentioned them on stage yesterday. And they were, you know. It's just throwing yourself out there. So you did try to do the voice.
Yes, I forgot about that.
Well, I mean, because it's not a significant part of your career in the sense that it built, your fan base. You're building your fan base the old-fashioned way. You're putting out great albums. You're playing in front of people. You're singing your songs. You're telling your stories. But those had to be interesting experiences without a doubt.
Oh, it was, yes.
And it could have been like that huge door opener that made it so that you could play those bigger rooms.
Yeah.
And not have to worry about, oh, okay. But had you been able to, with foresight, knowing that they weren't going to react well to a Jim Croce song on The Voice, would you have picked a different song just knowing full well that they're probably not going to like something so quiet, I guess? It's beautiful. It's hard to find it, but there is somebody critiquing you singing it, like somebody watching it and critiquing it. That's the only way you can watch it.
Oh.
I found it.
Oh, really? Yeah. I thought it was off of...
It is off, except for these people like talking about it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Oh, I should have them delete it. That's funny. It was a long time ago.
It's not a bad performance at all.
Thanks. Yeah. That was...
They weren't that mean to you.
No, they weren't.
You said Katy Perry was very mean to you on Idol.
Yes, she was very mean.
Showed up in the news this week being mean to one of the newer contestants, some
really?
mom. Yeah, she's kind of trashing her for being a mother of 3 at 25 or something like that. That's not for you to judge, Katy.
Yeah. I mean, I think that was the beginning of, I have a song where I don't know if I can swear, but I say BS.
You can, because it's a podcast. And
it's a podcast, yeah. Where I say, it's all bullshit. And I think that was the beginning of my bullshit journey was, and not that those shows aren't great, but both of those experiences, which the Voice experience was much more in depth than the Idol one. And this was years ago, but it was a reality TV show to the general public, which is different than the audience that I want to get to. You know what I mean? And so it was like, things were not natural. Things were not normal. Like it was like, Katy Perry telling me, "Oh, you put me to sleep." Like, Luke Bryan literally falling asleep while I'm playing. You know what I mean?
What did you play for Idol?
I played the song about my dad.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah. But I said with Idol, I was like, because the Voice experience didn't go very well, and then I tried out for the Idol thing, and it was like, I'm just gonna play the slowest, weirdest, no chorus, there's no hook. I'm not, and if they like it, then we'll see what happens. But I'm not gonna do anything other than what I want to do. And same with what I did on The Voice. It was cool that looking back, it was like it's kind of cool that I did. You know what I mean? Like that was kind of interesting to do that. I think looking back and looking at where it's a funny story now, which is all I want it to be. It's like when your career goes up like crazy like that through something like that, it I don't know.
Perhaps you should hook up with AJ Croce's Croce Does Croce tour that's happening.
Yes, I've heard of that. Tour. Oh, that would be awesome.
That would be a sensible audience for you.
Yes, I've
There's an idea.
That is a good idea. I actually saw a billboard for that. I was
nice.
The cool promo picture of him in the same guitar
same style.
Yeah, I mean, I think generally those shows, what I've realized the problem is that I think you have to define your audience. You know what I mean? Like, who are you playing for? Like, I want to play for people like you. You know what I mean? And I'm sure people listening to this podcast where it's like, it's not the whole world. It's not that other people are dumb or something. The general public is stupid or something like that. Or my music is so or anything. It's just that you have to define your audience a little bit. Like if you play to everybody, you're kind of playing to nobody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyways.
There you go. My guest today is Sam Robbins on Acoustic Alternatives. Before we close out, can we do the Saying Amen track?
Oh, yeah.
Is that the same guitar, different guitar?
It's a different guitar.
All right.
I'm glad I broke out that other guitar.
Yeah. So you weren't sure if it was going to be worth it. Apparently
it's very worth it.
Tell me about this one too, please.
Yeah, this is an interesting song for me because it was written. It was a letter to somebody that I read. I had played a show where I played with a Christian musician, and he was a great guy and everything, and the music was about love and acceptance and all this stuff. And then I friended him on Facebook, and it's suddenly, I don't think he's really about any of that stuff, and the music was extremely Christian, and this is my one angry song. I have a few, but this is the one angry song that I actually play live. And it was, it was a song that was not really supposed to be a song. It was just a letter. Just what would I say to this guy if I could? And I ended up winning the Kerrville, being one of the winners with Sav from the Accidentals of the Kerrville New Folk competition.
Yeah.
With this song and another one of my songs too. Sorry, I gotta get it tuned up. Yeah, it's called Saying Amen. You've got light blonde hair, skin like mine, married in 1990, 2 kids by 95, Bible by your bed, you swear Jesus knows your name, but don't think he doesn't see what you post online every day. And you say you love a good book, so why don't you take a good look at yourself? 'Cause there are people going through hell that we can't understand. Why don't you care about them? So go on, keep on saying amen. Yeah, you got a good job now. You say you got there with your own hands. It's real easy to preach it when you don't have to understand that it's not saying your life's been easy or that you haven't worked for your blessings, but it hasn't been made harder by the color of your skin. And you say you love a good book, so why don't you take a good look at yourself? 'Cause there are people going through hell that we can't understand. Why don't you care about them? So go on, keep on saying amen. Amen now. Amen for my trans friends, brave for being alive. Amen for the Bible and for Jesus Christ. Amen for the women who shouldn't have to fight for their rights. Amen for the White House and the good people still inside. Amen. And you say you love a good book, so why don't you take a good look at yourself? 'Cause there are people going through hell that we can't understand. Why don't you care about them? So go on, keep on saying amen.
Call that a happy accident if that wasn't intended to be a song.
It wasn't really. It really wasn't.
That's a fantastic one, and deservedly so a winner.
Oh, thank you.
Kerrville.
Thank you.
That's fantastic. You are on a great path, I think.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It means a lot coming from you. You've heard a lot of them, so thank you.
I have. You're right. Thank you for saying that about me.
Yeah, thank you.
I look forward to seeing where your journey takes you next. I've heard a couple of the new songs. You played a couple last night.
Yeah.
And they sound real good. The second one, I think, if I was going to pick between the two, had the stronger vibe to it for me. I don't know.
Yeah,
whether you want my
I agree.
opinion.
I like them both, but yeah.
If I was going to pick one over the other for, like, if that's all you gave me, that's the second one. But good stuff coming, obviously. Any plans to, like, get back into the studio? You're still writing for that?
Yeah. I mean, I've been writing a lot lately, but I might be doing a live album from a house concert, which is kind of interesting. But
it's more what we're going to see live.
I kind of am just interested in that, and I don't know. The live album is kind of the next thing on the docket, I think, for me. But yeah.
Well, please keep in touch and let me know what you're up to. Email list available on your website.
Yes.
What is your website?
It's samrobbinsmusic.com.
Because if we don't put music in, we get some other guy. I'm sure.
Yeah. So there is a doctor, a men's health doctor. I'll say that. Yes, a men pill dispensing health doctor, Dr. Sam Robbins. 2 million subscribers on YouTube. Anyways.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah,
Wow.
it's been interesting.
You should start selling pills.
I know. I could be an imposter. Yeah.
We're at Grove Studios in Ypsilanti. Again, if you're a musician in the area, DJ, or a podcaster like myself, this is a place you're going to want to check out. Very affordable keypad operation, available 24/7, as long as it's not already booked, and I highly recommend it. And I thank them for inspiring me to continue doing what it is that I loved doing in radio. So if not, I don't get to do an interview with my new friend, Sam Robbins.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
A total pleasure. And there will be more. I've got at least one more booked and lots in discussion. So keep your eyes on the podcast. This is number 54, 55. I've lost track now.
Wow.
If you've not heard the one with Liz Longley, I encourage you to go listen to that one. If you're a fan of what Sam's doing here, I'll continue doing it. Thanks, Sam.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. Thank you.